volume 12. And it starts off, once I had purged everything, this is again Jesus speaking to Luisa, once I had purged everything, I will place my finger in a surprising way, and I will give the true peace. Then all those who are humiliated will return to me. Germany will be Catholic. I have great designs upon her. England, Russia, and all the places where blood has been shed will rise again to faith and will be incorporated into my church. Now, it's interesting because there are many prophecies about England, and I spoke about that on my channel a bit, about England converting to Catholicism. And I don't know how many comments I received that, well, and these are people from England, it's more likely that we become Muslim than Catholic because of their demographics and because of their migration policies.
Yes.
But there's many, many prophecies about England converting. There's St. Dominic Savio, who was very focused on that conversion of England. There's St. John Vianney, and there's also Our Lady of La Salette. Blessed Mother mentioned the same thing to Father Gobi. And also you see it here in the writings of Luisa. And I believe that will be the case. I kind of see things happening there.
Yes. Well, unless there's a revival in Europe and in England, then it will convert. It will become an Islamic continent. That's the direction that it's going in with population.
So the surprise is that I believe firmly that the Muslims will convert also, and not just the Jews.
It's true.
And things, when it comes to God and his ways and his prophecies, things always transpire in a manner that's unexpected.
Yeah.
So if you go back to Israel, you talk about the third temple. Well, you had Temple of the Mount there. You're going to build the third temple on top of that? I mean, I don't think that would be very well received.
Al-Aqsa Mosque.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would not be well received at all. And I think there are many Muslims would rather give up their lives than see that happen. But my thinking is there will be a church there, and it will be Catholic at some point. And it'll be something that's agreeable to Jews and Muslims. Also, interesting that she mentions also Russia. She mentions Russia specifically, which is also a focus of Fatima. And also there was another Marian apparition in 1987-1914 of Khrushchev in Ukraine, which was at the time behind the Iron Curtain. So it's still, there's not much known about it, but it's very similar to Zaytun, where in Zaytun, Egypt, their Blessed Mother appeared in a manner that everyone who was there and present saw her. And thousands seen her in Zaytun. And thousands have seen her in Khrushchev also in the same manner. The difference is in Khrushchev, she gave messages. And she spoke about the conversion of Russia in 1987. And she also referred to how Ukraine would be an instrument for the conversion of Russia. And that's exactly what has happened today, where Ukraine is playing a role, and it's not an enviable role, but it's one that has made Russia turn inward towards their Orthodox faith. And they've done that because they were, at some point, they were looking to the West. Russia was considering itself part of the West, part of Europe. And because of this war, which is a proxy war, which is Western Europe and the United States, is using Ukraine as a battering ram and a launching pad against Russia, they've turned their backs, for the most part, on Europe. They only look at Europe and the West as trading partners now. And by turning their back on the West, they turned their back on a society that has deliberately adopted the errors of Russia that we've heard about at Fatima. Now, again, what I just spoke about earlier, the Olympics, I mean, there are a couple examples. What happened to the Olympics, what happened at the soccer stadium, the cross in Spain. I mean, it's all throughout Western society. And they've turned their back on that. And they are embracing, because of their Russian Orthodox identity, they're embracing that identity and that faith.
Yeah.
Assuming that the Orthodox believe what they should believe and the Roman Catholics believe what they should believe, which isn't always the case. But assuming that's true, we share 99% of the faith. So when we talk about them, we're talking about a reunification. And maybe that's a good thing to mention, because we're going to be sharing Easter on April 20th. And I don't, when it's mentioned here, the conversion of Russia. Well, I think Russia is already beating us to the punch in converting, so to speak. And we're lagging behind. So I look forward to this unification that's coming with the Orthodox. I love the Orthodox and their faith. I actually have an icon sitting on the table right in front of me.
Yes.
So
it's beautiful, beautiful icon.
Yeah,
and the art and the culture and the tradition. It's all, it's all ancient Christian tradition, and it's apostolic. And we pray for true unity between the two churches, the West and the East, the two lungs, as Pope John Paul used to call it, the two lungs of the church.
Yes.
We can't breathe on one lung. We need both the East and the West to survive as a church.
Yes, and even discussions regarding unification, they've gone in the wrong direction, again, because of the apostasy that we find ourselves in. If we firmly held the faith on both the Orthodox and the Roman Catholic side, and I'm not beating up on the Orthodox when I say this, but they have fallen away from the faith, as has the Roman Catholics.
Yes.
So it's not just Protestants, it's not just atheists, but the salt is losing its savor, so to speak.